expectation. What is for us to be competitive in the European market? Of course, we have a lot of competitors in Europe. So how can we, let's say, distinguish or differentiate our service to the market by having a good short lead time that customers are happy with? And just to say, I joined this division 2 months ago, so we definitely have a lack of a good system to track our supply chain performance. There are too many, let's say, daily escalation happening in this division. That was one of the reasons for why I was brought in, to try and put some structure to this. And that could definitely also be a task for an intern to help build up a system on where we can track our supply chain performance much better, both on the stock, the make to order, and our last mile distribution as such. Try to get a better understanding of the market expected lead times. So together with sales, try to figure out what is actually the market expectations and how can we align either by stocking or looking into a make to order portfolio strategy that could help. So they are more or less, let's say, these two are something similar. We also have some logistics requirements. So a lot of the products, these make to orders that we are building, they are huge pumps. It's not just something that you can carry under your arm. They will weigh up to a ton. And often you need to deliver them to a building site. So the customer has expectation that we arrive on the correct day. Perhaps there is a time slot requirement. We need to have unloading equipment, or they need to get a crane or something to unload this truck. So we need to figure out what are the, let's say, logistic requirements within the customers. What is it that they require from Grundfos, so we can build up, let's say, a service catalog, a service offerings within the supply chain logistics aspects. So definitely we need to map what is it that our customer they require from us, because today it's just one size fit all. We put it on a truck and we move it, but some customers are unhappy with us because they cannot unload it, or we didn't arrive on the correct day. So now they had a full team standing there that couldn't do their work. So there's definitely a lot on, let's say, the logistic requirements and all things. Quite a lot of stock sitting in Europe right now, and our stock inventory is really, really high. So the one big target for us this year is to reduce our inventory. But of course, we do not want to reduce our inventory and then hurt our service level to the market. But for sure, we can be smarter about the stock that we have. How is it that we build a good stock coming from what is the demand from the forecasting, from the market? What is the replenishment lead time coming from the different vendors that we are having? So I don't think we have too much stock, but we probably have the wrong stock in some positions, saying, okay, here we are having 6 to 8 to 9 months of supply. That's way too much. We should probably look at having something closer to 2 months of supply. But of course, you can only do that if you have a steady supply behind you. Otherwise, you need to build a buffer in your stocking part of it. So evaluating our stock and what we have here, and then we are moving most likely into a dual distribution center strategy within Europe. Today we have our biggest warehouse in Netherlands, which we have actually for the past 8 years said this is the European warehouse. And then we have used other facilities as a satellite stocking point, meaning that we will have a smaller range of products and then they will source from the Netherlands. But we start to see our Hungarian business increasing. So right now we produce in Hungary, we ship to Netherlands, and then we actually return it to Hungary again to ship to Eastern European countries. So it doesn't make sense. Again, also from a sustainability point of view, we are driving through Europe at least 2 or 3. So how do we optimize our footprint within our stocking profile, and how can we do a dual distribution strategy for the European region? Then just in general, how do we optimize our network optimization and our footprint? So Most is produced in Europe, but we also produce in Mexico, and we ship quite a lot of goods from Mexico to Europe. What is the good way of doing this? How do we deliver to Africa? What is the good way of building up a good strategy for our market in Africa, which is quite significant for water utility, because of course they need a lot of water in Africa in order to have crops and so on, and feed or having drinking water for people living there. So our division is the one having the biggest business within Africa, which has its own challenges because they don't have a good cash flow. So there is a lot of, I want to buy this, but I don't have the money, so you need to keep it for me until I have the money, and so on. So it's really complex business that you're doing in Africa. Then we have a what do you call that? A buying platform that we call extranet. So majority of customers, they will log into our buying platform. They will enter what they need. They will place an order. Now we have gotten access to a lot of the data points within this system, so we can also see what are they not buying. So they looked up this pump, but for some reason they didn't buy it, or they actually put it into the cart, but they abandoned that cart. They can see our stock, they can see our lead time. So is it due to the fact that we are run out of stock, that our lead time is too long? So there are, that's a very interesting part. Can we actually start to use this data to make better decisions on what we want to stock in our different positions in Grundfos? And that's not only for Europe, that's the same for IMEA. Try to, that we in supply chain use this data in a smart way to actually have a more strategic stock and more customer oriented stock, because today it's based on what our salespeople, they think is what the customer needs. Let's see. Within IMEA, we are now building a distribution center in Dubai. So how can we optimize our stock and our flow in order to serve the Middle Eastern market? What are the products that we need to stock? How can we increase our growth by stocking products that they can have with a shorter lead time? We also now want to, or we are now moving the African market to our DC in Hungary. So how do we support the African market? What is our stocking strategy? What is the flow that we want to create through this DC to Africa? And we are also now moving, by doing this, we are moving our Danish and German DC operation to Hungary. So what is it that we gain? Our flows, they will change. What are the options for us then to utilize this center of gravity that we are now going to create in Hungary? There's definitely something on demand planning and production alignment. In IMEA, they do a lot of project business, so suddenly they require 1,500 products. That can be a month of production in one of our production companies. So how do we work with these bigger projects, and how do we make sure that our production are kept in the loop when sales is in a negotiation and promising something to a customer? Too often we see that they will promise customers everything, and then they go to operation, and then we need to figure out how do we then do this. And it could be much better if we were more, let's say, involved in that part of the early business, so we also know what is going to happen. Again, network optimization and footprint. And then we have, let's say, something about our STAN countries. So that's Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all of the STAN countries, let's say, right to the Caspian Sea. How do we support their business? How do we support that region? We are constrained by the Russian sanctions. So we are not allowed to go through Russia, and we are not allowed to go through Iran. So today, by truck, we go from Europe through Turkey to Georgia to Azerbaijan. Then we take a boat to Kazakhstan. So it's a really, really long way to go and serve the market. So how can we do this better? What is a good strategy? Should we source more from Asia, from China? They are probably closer to this region that we are in Europe. but the STAN countries are, let's say, within our Eastern European sales region, despite them being, let's say, much closer to Asia. So these are the projects that I have open right now. And of course, you can see that it's not just a school project. These are real projects that I need to do. So I think there are a lot of opportunities for an intern to take one of these tasks and really contribute with something that is having a value to Grundfos, while also having something that is, I think there is a lot of theories that can be applied from a university point of view. Of course, some of them are really heavy on the supply chain part of it. So stocking, demand planning, yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. We need to. I think we have the best situation when your correct curriculum matches the projects that we're having, because then you get a really good internship and you get what is needed to fulfill the curriculum of your school. And I think it's we build better projects when it's something that is valuable to both of us. So if I just had to give you then a small project on the side that fitted your curriculum, but it's not needed from my side, uh, how much attention will I give it, and so on. So I hope that we can find a good match between these projects that we have here and the curriculum that you have that you need to get signed by your supervisor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but we could easily agree that we go for these 15 hours instead, because then you have what, 4 months. If that you have 320 hours, right? Yeah.